Once upon a time, a brave tradesman led his caravan through the scorching hot desert. His tale is a powerful reminder of determination, courage, and hope. Stay tuned for an incredible story that could change how you face your own challenges. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, your place for inspiring stories and life lessons. Today, I've got an amazing story for you. A story about leadership, determination, and the power of never giving up, no matter how tough the situation gets. Have you ever faced a moment where everything seemed hopeless? Where it felt like the challenges were just too big to overcome? Well, today's story is for you. Let's dive in. Once upon a time, in a distant land, a tradesman led a caravan on a journey to another country. He was not just any tradesman, he was responsible for many people, goods, and animals. Together, they traveled across lands, hoping to sell their merchandise and return with profits to support their families and communities. After days of traveling, they came to the edge of a massive desert, one that stretched as far as the eye could see. The locals warned them, no one can cross this desert during the day. The sand gets so hot under the sun, it's like walking on burning coals. Even the camels and bullocks can't stand the heat. But the tradesman wasn't someone who backed away from a challenge. He hired a desert guide, someone who could navigate the treacherous sands by following the stars at night. And so, they waited for the sun to set. Under the cool night sky, they began their journey across the burning sands. The stars above were their only guide, with the desert guide leading the way in the first cart. For several nights, they traveled like this, resting during the day and moving under the cover of night. It wasn't easy. The desert was vast, and the way was dangerous. But they trusted their guide and believed they were getting closer to their destination. One evening, after a long day of rest and an evening meal, they set out once again. But there was one small problem. The desert guide, who had eaten more than his share of food, began to feel drowsy. As the cool night air wrapped around him, he slowly dozed off to sleep. The bullocks pulling the carts didn't know the way, of course. They couldn't read the stars. Without the guide, they began to wander, turning ever so slightly off course until they ended up right back where they had started. By the time the sun rose, the travelers realized the terrible truth. They were back at the same place they had camped the day before. They had made no progress at all. The people were devastated. They were already deep in the desert, running low on water. There was no turning back. The fear of dying from thirst set in, and panic spread through the camp. People began to blame the caravan leader, saying, "We can't survive without water. We're doomed." The caravan leader knew this was a crucial moment. If he gave in to fear, they would all be lost. If he allowed despair to take over the people, the animals, the goods, all would perish. He had to stay strong. And then out of the corner of his eye, he saw something. A tiny clump of grass, barely visible in the vast desert. It was a small sign, but it gave him hope. There must be water under the ground, he thought. If this plant is alive, there must be water nearby. They dug and dug, hoping to find water. But after digging for hours, they hit a large stone. Frustration and doubt crept in. Some of the people wanted to give up. "This is useless," they cried. "We're just wasting time." But the leader didn't give up. No, my friends," he said. "If we stop now, we'll lose everything. We must keep going." He placed his ear to the stone and listened. And there it was, the faint sound of flowing water beneath the rock. "There is water," he shouted. He called over a young boy and said, "If we give up now, we will all perish. Take this hammer and strike the rock with all your strength." The boy lifted the hammer and brought it down with all his might. And to his amazement, the rock split in two, and a torrent of fresh, cool water surged out. The people were overjoyed. They drank, they bathed, they gave water to the animals, and for the first time in days, they felt hope. Before continuing on their journey, the leader had one last idea. They raised a high banner, visible from afar, to mark the spot. This way, other travelers crossing the desert could find the life-saving water and survive. And so, With the water they needed and their spirits renewed, the caravan safely crossed the desert and reached their destination. This incredible story reminds us that even in the toughest moments, when everything seems hopeless, we must never give up. The caravan leader didn't let fear or despair stop him from finding a solution. And in the end, his perseverance saved everyone. Just like in life, when we face challenges, we have to dig deep, literally and figuratively, to find the strength to keep going. There's always a solution, even if it takes time and effort to find it. Moral: don't give up too easily. Keep on trying until you reach the goal. So, the next time you feel like giving up, remember this story. There's always a way through the desert as long as you